they want to try and scout any potential survivors crossing to the other side. So far, nothing to be seen. I am Monarch. I'm joined by my co-caster Ellie, and yeah, no, so far again, just a lot of really good stealthing on the side of Nebula so far.
Very good stealthing. I'm not mad at this play that Shroud is deciding to do because we do have a 4-gen top, I believe, and a 3-gen bottom. But they are opting to hold their 4-gen, which is really smart, something I would personally do as well. But these I was gonna say these survivors are doing so good at stealthing, but we do find Gum at main. Gum just gonna take the puke and just go off because if I'm correct, our killer just wants to get these vomit stacks. All 4 survivors vomited. So very smart play by Shroud here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wants to get all 4 of those Thanatophobia stacks up and running. We do see Pyrexia in the mid sides of the map, has the Jungle Gym pallet. Not going to throw the pallet immediately, recognizes that there's not a lot of danger when you're out of infection. However, the tag is still going to come in on the puke. So that is 2 survivors, 2 members that are infected so far, and 2 perfectly healthy survivors now. And we've seen that the entirety of Royalty has basically traversed all across the map. So Shroud no longer has that midpoint pinch to really try and squeeze survivors through. We are going to get chased onto Tony. Q coming in will end up tagging their shin, so that's gonna be 3 survivors tagged so far, but none fully infected quite yet. But Shroud, Tony is gonna run straight into Shroud, and that's gonna be the first infection, not through an infection, but through just a basic M1.
And if you know anything about plague sets, at least one survivor should always be healthy, so I am glad they are sticking with this mentality with the Renato aka Torn staying healthy. It's gonna be really good, but unfortunately they do find Torn, but Torn is not infected yet, as Torn is going to play the mid-map, almost bottom side of the map. Yep, we're sending it bottom, gonna keep it bottom because they do have a 4-gen top, so they're just gonna work top gens. That's the right play there. I would have waited. But at least we have another survivor which is healthy, aka Pyrexia. Not mad at this play. I just don't think we should be cleansing because the play could get her power easier, depending on where it is.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That is 2 gens popping at the same time, and a swing right through, just gonna knock Legume straight onto the ground. Pyrexia, the lone member that witnessed that absolute massacre happen, and another swing. This lantern or insect or whatever the plague wields is getting a lot of value right now. And yeah, no, Ellie, I absolutely agree with the plague. The cleanse. The main issue with cleansing so early is that once Shroud gets that first hook online, they then open up themselves to very easily camping this hook, because now you see with that additional cleansed fountain, that gives them another use of power that they can use to, if they really wanted to, just camp Legume out of the game. Now, I'm not entirely sure that they are going to opt for this right now, considering that 2 gens did just pop in their face, and I believe with that main gen popping, they no longer have that tight squeeze 4-gen on the top side, but they still have a 3-gen, so I think that's the area that they really want to go in, and another swing!
I was gonna say, I hope that these survivors in Nebula do get Gum, because we saw the 2k6 from our last game due to technical difficulties was not shown, so they do get the pull, and this is going to be a pain res hook, I believe?
Yeah, no, and like you said with the 2k6, it was also a 2k6 with only 2 freshes acquired. So right now, Shroud has those 2 freshes, so if they manage to get another fresh hook on the board, that could swing the favor in them obtaining this win con for Royalty. So right now, Shroud has taken one of their empowered fountains. Now they're just roaming the bottom side of the map, trying to cut off any survivors. The scratch marks are seen. Pyrexia trying to get their teammate, but the swing comes in. At this point, Shroud doesn't even need a vomit. The incest is just doing the job for them.
These survivors in Nebula should be played a little more safer for such a small win con Shroud has. This is gonna be very easy, it seems, with how this is playing out, but like we did see earlier, we did see Nebula pop 2 gens, so it's very, it's like a I can't even speak because, oh my goodness. This is basically just a back and forth between these two teams. You want to get the hooks, we're gonna pop these gens. So I just love the back and forth between these two teams right now. Keeping on pace too. Oh. Do you see what I see, Monarch? This is not a good hook. Yup.
It's a back and forth, and I think all of a sudden Shrod is getting a little more than Nebula can, because let's analyze what Shrod has right now. 2 survivors on hook with power available, so any survivors, like, look at both Legume and Tony, the only 2 survivors that can. They're both infected. They could just be taken out from a range, and on top of that, Shrod also has 2 gens nearby that they can camp. Granted, it's outside of the 3 gen, but that also limits really where the Nebula survivors can be. And now Shroud knows every single survivor's location on the map. They have gotten a 5 kill streak in Call of Duty. They have popped the UAV and their minimap is showing red everywhere.
Plus I am not mad at these hook spawns. They can just cap both of these. Oh, but they do miss the down onto Gum. But we are just gonna go back and secure this kill onto Torn here.
Yeah, Torn barely has any hook stages left, and the only survivor that can come is Legume. But unfortunately, this vegetable is not getting anywhere further away from death as Torn dives on the hook, and now there's only 3 survivors left, but another generator pops. But look at the hook stages, they're kind of building up, but the gens aren't quite matching the same pressure right now. Shrod can potentially get another hook stage on the board here. Legume has a jungle gym to work with, but the pallet, they only have the window, and the window is the much weaker side of that tile, and that is going to be another hook on the stage for Shrod, and that will put the total up to 5 stages. That's 5 stages. Like, if Nebula let another stage slip, that automatically gives the win to Royalty, because Royalty will have the fresh hook advantage.
I guess we could say about Gum's chase right there. He lost it, but I guess he found himself in a pretty sticky situation.
God, never say that ever again.
As we do opt to just stay top. Not gonna stay bottom, not mad at this play. But we do see in the distance Tony working a jet and Pyrexia just wanted to get the unhook, but unfortunately I don't think Pyrexia is gonna get that because Shrod here is doing a phenomenal job just camping the Gum out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, notice the health stages on the side of Nebula. Who can really come in? Sure, Pyrexia might want to position for it, but Shrod has the empowered Vomit. With the double apple add-ons, that just made more of the infected pool spawn earlier. So now Shrod, this is really a strength of Plague, is how good her camping ability really is with these empowered. And Legume's just gonna die, and with that, we've reached 6 stages. That gives the win automatically over to Royalty. So honestly, really good, well played to Shrod here for getting the downs necessary, just really playing around the power very, very efficiently now. All that's left is a 2v1 of Tony and Pyrexia to get someone out, but the job is already done.
But to Nebula's, kudos to Nebula, because this was a very deep win con 2k6, but I'm just so proud of just playing this matchup. I know this was probably a mental decline for them probably, but they should go into the next set with the mental reset. Hey, we didn't fully get this one, but we are at least able to get lots of gen prog for all of our chases. What the? But yeah, they should go to the next set with an open mind. They played the best of their abilities. I am very proud of Nebula for trying their best.
Well, thanks for the very positive comments for Ellie. Let me bounce out by that positivity by saying that, honestly, a lot of these downs just kind of seemed a little goofy, I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot, okay, taking the swing to a pallet is a very, if it works kind of thing. And Shrod just had a lot of swings through pallets here. We get to see Tony, the last member, standing in the chase around the main building here. A very well-known territory for those on the ladder, on the ranked ladder. but Tony this time does not have as many resources to work with, only has a pallet and a dream. The 2 trees, oh, but sends it one more time for the window, but Shrod reads it that time, and that is going to be all 4 members down. So that will end up with Royalty walking away with the win on the Plague set. Very, very well played to the side of Royalty, and also well played to Nebula as well for putting up honestly a pretty decent fight. 4K wins not too shabby of a result either against Plague. So we are going to take a short break as we set up the next set and see if Royalty can finish the job or if Nebula can take us all the way the distance.
And we are back with the second matchup against Nebula and Royalty. We just saw Royalty just absolutely show off during the Plague set, but this is a new game. This is unknown, on record, so Nebula could hopefully bring this back. I am rooting for Nebula, honestly, to bring this back because Nebula's a very good team. So is Royalty. Both teams are really good, but I want to root for Nebula here, but I'm not alone. I am with my wonderful caster, Monarch. Monarch, what do you think is going to happen in this game?
Well, a couple seconds before this, I was told that Unknown is a specialty killer of Royalty, and well, Unknown is in a pretty weak state. If you get good enough at a killer, I mean, screw it, you can play it anywhere. And we're kind of seeing that right now with a very early down in Pyrexia. These downs, I don't think happen like too fast on Unknown, unless I'm too out of touch with the comp scene. I believe that Unknown has slowly but surely been losing like what their win con, like their expected win con is over time. But if Shrod is like confident enough on the pick, okay, I want to see like a really neat shot from Shrod, like a really cool bounce or like a mortar or just something, man. Show off a little.
I would have to agree with you as we do find our ace as so fun fact, I am an ace girly, so this is very exciting for me, but as we do take the ace out of Shack, getting rid of any pressure Shack Gen had, which is not a lot.
Yeah, no, this perk combination is pretty interesting. It's the Eruption plus the Pop Goes Weasel, so it really gets a lot of value after hook and also after down as well. But you do have to... It's a little interesting on Unknown, because Unknown's not very, like, fast killer, but you're taking the time out of your day to, like, erupt a gen. So, once again, if Shrod is confident on the pick, then I can absolutely see the perk working. We just have a camp hooked out here by 5, and it doesn't look like anyone's really interested in getting Phyrexia off. I think Nebula just want to get the early gen pressure going. The first 2 or so gens is the really easy ones to pop, but like later on in the game, that's when your macro is really tested. And I think that they have a bit of a priority. Oh, but Lagum just sneaks straight in, gets Phyrexia off the hook before stage 2 can even occur. That's going to be a pretty big win here for Nebula, preventing that stage 2.
Yeah, but we are not going to prevent the pain res as we do find Pyrexia again, that Shack. We're gonna dodge the UVX shot. Very nice dodging from Pyrexia.
Yeah, really good movement from Phyrexia. Get that man signed to a dodgeball team immediately. You're gonna do the comp pre-drop in the corner. That's gonna be a second gen popping for Nebula. The first 2 gens have been popped, but this is where the macro really begins. Phyrexia taking the chase out into the deep 3 corner, possibly wanting their teammates to work on a 9 gen. That's gonna be a nice tag right at the edge of the UVX's explosion. That's gonna lock Phyrexia into this area. They really have nowhere else to run, or else the UVX is gonna catch up to you. UVX locked and loaded, but the spin barely dodges the ball, and now Shrod has to start from stage 1 all over again as they need to get that infected state back up. Infected weakened state applied once again. One more shot is all it takes. Phyrexia is kind of running into a little bit of a choke point, and yeah, with nowhere else to really run, that is going down for Phyrexia, but a pretty good job, I'd say.
Phyrexia did such a great job. Yes, Phyrexia is the tunnel out, but they made their chase count, and we saw the gens progress for that, so very nice job on Phyrexia's part.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we see Shrod has a pretty nice clone setup. They have pretty much they have a little like triangle formation around Shack. And speaking of Shack, this gen does seem pretty high progress there. That's going to be Shack Pallet, a really important resource for the survivors, gone immediately. But the pop goes the Weasel, nullifies any pressure that they have. Pyrexia is off the hook once more. But where can they really run? They're going to just run into Shrod immediately if they try and go anywhere. And their headed direction is the twin buses.
So we are going to opt to take bus again, but we are not going for a 10. Oh, we do find our 10 out. Oh.
You know, happens to the best. Happens to the best of us, you know. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you just like stub your toe. It's like, oh man.
I think that Pyrexia was hoping our Renato aka Torn was gonna take the hit, but maybe there was a miscomm between those two players. I'm not exactly sure, but we do see another gen pop for Pyrexia's death. So we are not doing too bad. We do have 4 stages so far.
Yeah, there's 4 stages with 2 freshes so far, but the gen spread, I would say, does favor Shrod. They have all their gens within, like, the right side of the map, and on top of that, they have a lot of clones within the area. Like, they have a clone and pretty much cutting off any way that the survivors would want to rotate around. So they're going to find Tony, they're going to get the weakened state, they're just going to apply the weakened state and leave, so that later on, Tony is a much easier down. That's honestly the main downside of this killer, is that we saw it in the Pyrexia chase. If you don't, like, land the second UVX shot, you gotta, like, start from square one all over again. You see Legum wrapping around the long side of the crane just to block as much LOS as possible from Shrod. Just gonna keep wrapping, but the shot is finally going to be landed up. The stun comes through, but so does the weakened state. Legum is just gonna run further deep into 5, and they're gonna so deep they're running into a wall. That's how deep they're running.
But I think running into the wall there might have been the play, because they did not take any injuries from the UVX, and they are back to square one. Oh, no, we're just gonna take the M1.
Yeah, with the killer like unknown, you kind of want these chases to be a little more snappier, but like that's just the cards you have to play with unknown. Their chase power has just kind of been like figured out at this point. They're not a threat really, and that's going to be another gen popping, and we're down to 1 gen left. It's a decent spread, but Shrod is not getting the downs at the same frequency that I think they want.
You know, I noticed something. I don't think... I might be wrong, but I don't think Plague is a set Nebula is confident on. They're looking a lot more strong, if you couldn't notice Monarch in this set. I think they scrimmed a lot of unknown, so they know what to do. They know the micro and macro sense of how do we play against this killer, where do we need to get rid of clones and stuff like that. So I think this is a set we're more comfortable on. Me and my big mouth. I think Nebula heard me and said, hey, we gotta prove Ellie wrong here.
A long time ago, in an ancient script only meant for casters, there's a pact that all of us casters must sign, and in that pact it said that the moment you say anything on broadcast, it will manifest itself. It's called the caster curse.
I was not here for the pact. This is news to me. I am sorry, Nebula will not happen again.
It's a common caster pact. Everyone must sign it, and you're just under the curse of caster curse for, you know, your entire casting career. So, you know, good job on that. We are going to see someone who's working major deep 3 that is going to be torn with a little bit of weaken onto them, but not enough for Shrod to really want to commit onto a vault back and another vault straight after. But this is a tile that does suit itself favorably for the unknown. They have a bit of curvature around these tiles, around these tires that they do want UVX to bounce on, but Torn still has another pallet that's going to chain straight into it, chain it into the window as well. They have a decently strong setup that allows Tony in the background to get unhooked and fully healed as well. So no gens are being worked on at the moment, but everyone is healthy, live. Again, that's going to be the flashbang on the ground just to buy a little bit of time, but Tony's just going to take the window instead. Oh, but they don't vault immediately. Shrod predicted the vault, but Torn predicted the predict onto the vault. This is some level 200 chess moves, but you know what they say, the greatest move in chess is just to stab your opponent.
But if Torn does make this chase last long, we could see the final gem. Oh. You know what? Maybe I should just stop talking. Maybe I should just stop trying to say and be positive, because every time I do, something happens. I'm sorry, Torn.
There's gonna be Torn on the ground, cursed by Ellie once. Actually, I think that's the first time this match. That's gonna be a pain resonance. Another pop goes the weasel. See, this is where the snowball really begins. You chain, you get it down, and let's say you have a gen that's already erupted. The gen erupts, then you get a pain resonance on the board. That's another like chunk of progress. Then you get a pop goes the weasel, which is another chunk of progress. And then if your like eruption is off cooldown, that resets eruption. So these 3 perks really do just combo so well into each other when you get the ball rolling. Legum is gonna take a hit before the weakened state can wear off. That's actually really big. Now Shot has a little bit more of a reason to follow up on this chase. First shot gonna go wide. That's gonna be the weakened state exposed, and they but the Legum has the pallet in their favor. Gonna drop the pallet right in Shot's face, and Shot is just gonna walk away from that. I think they realize that taking the injured there is just going to delay the survivors, and I think that's all they wanted. Ooh, there's a lot of pressure on 3, though, but Shad realizes that that Tony is right there.
And I'm also noticing what you were saying in the beginning with the gen spread is looking good for Shroud here, because this gen spread is so ridiculous. We have a gen 3, we have a gen Shack. But I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
We have a Gen 3, we have a Gen Shack, and we have a Renato on the floor. That is the major geography, I'd say, of Wrecker's Yard. And that's gonna be an eruption. Yeah, that eruption proc, see? The eruption proc going off, getting that info, and also taking the chunk off of the generator. Ladies and gentlemen, generator perks are strong and good, and you should probably use them. That's gonna be a tag onto Legum for the weakened state, so the next time that Shroud walks into them, that's just gonna be a clean M2, and we're finally gonna get the hook onto Torn, which is gonna be another pop goes the weasel.
But kudos to Nebula. I think 4K1 is pretty average for unknown set. I could be wrong. I believe it's either 4K1 or else, but just the fact that they got to 4K1 is really impressive, so they should be super proud of themselves.
Ellie always coming in with the positivity. You love this.
What can I say? I've got to be the positive one in the comp community. Ooh.
Well, your positivity led directly to the downfall of Tony. Just gonna take a swing to the back, and that's Tony on the ground, Torn on a hook, and Legum has only a couple sticks left to try and resolve everything. But Shroud is not accepting the minty goodness. They do not accept briberies.
Gum might be in a sticky situation, and Tony might have been a donut for his play, but Gum might be looping. Oh, Gum just got himself into another sticky situation. All right.
Yep. Gum is in a sticky situation. Donut was a donut for that play, and I'm pretty torn on this whole performance. Correxia. So that's going to be a 4K1 on the side of Royalty, starting us off strong. We're going to take a quick break as we flip the sides, and we'll see how Nebula retaliates.
For you.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Ashen Trial Season 1 here. We have what is potentially the last game of Nebula versus Royalty. We have Torn on the side of Nebula here. Last time, Royalty's killer managed to get a 4K1 against the Nebula survivors, so now Torn needs a 4K2 or better to keep this game going, or else this will fall into Royalty's hands. I am Monarch, joined by Ellie as usual, and Torn right now is doing a very interesting strat of immediately booking it to their corrupted gens to try and scout out anyone that is hiding. No one tagged so far. Ooh, but the scratch marks are going to reveal someone running towards Sex. Yeah, but I got it right this time. That one chatter. I got it right this time. There are scratch marks here once again, and a little bit of gen progress. The pallets just be dropped, and that is going to be, I believe, Cupid running straight by here. One shot, and oh, that almost redirected itself directly onto Cupid's head, but a little delayed, and that's gonna be a pallet break for Torn, as Torn didn't bring brutal strength or anything, so all these pallets just need to be kicked the old-fashioned way. Gonna have a card pallet to work with. Cupid hasn't taken a weakened state yet. It's not even gonna take an M1. Torn goes for the swing, but a swing and a miss is all they'll get, and the UVX just bouncing directly off the car and into nothingness. This is not the start that I think Torn wants.
No, this isn't, and I've never seen Torn play killer, so this is a very new person for me to see, but it doesn't look like they probably play unknown, or if they do, I think they're just having a rough start, but I'm sure Torn will bring it back, because Torn does look decent on unknown, just maybe they're a little nervous with this pressure, having to get the 4K too. Yep, I
Nice
say that,
little...
and they get
Oh,
the hit. So I
a
think
nice
I have good
little...
luck.
A nice little flick to the left will confirm the weaken onto Tomo here. One more shot could do the trick, but it goes a little further than I think Torn expected, and that just allows Tomo to get the weakened state off. And that's still going to be an M1 into the tires, trying to... Ooh, that's a very interesting shot. Trying to pop the tires, see if the oxygen flow will blow Tomo straight into the stratosphere. But unfortunately, the physics are just not physicsing here in the Entity's realm. That's going to be the first gen popped. Corrupt is down, so now all gens are available to be worked on here. Torn going to be switching targets over to Shrod. Shrod going to be dropping the pallet directly in their face. Has the pallet to play around. Might chain it through the window. No, just going to keep lapping this pallet. And that's going to be an M1 onto Shrod. That's going to be the first injury of the match so far. That's going to be a second gen popping. And at this pace, it is not looking good.
No, not at all, but I'm so proud of Torn just playing this out, because I know if this was me, I would have tried to leave, so I'm so proud of Torn for just playing this out. You know, the win con is going to be a little difficult.
Yeah, to everyone at home, never give up. Even if it's dire, even if the dog's leaving you, your girlfriend's leaving you, your rent's due, it's never that dire. We're going to take a little pot shot over to 5 here. I'm too used to calling this map before the RNG change, so I have to like flick the entire map in my head. I know the clock, please. I'm not a fraud. That's gonna be an unhook for Shrod. Shrod off the hook and potentially a tunnel out. But honestly, at this pace, do you even want a tunnel out if you're trying to go for the hook too? I feel like you'd rather just spread the pressure and try and prevent as many survivors off of gens as possible here.
Ooh, and the cheeky little blind is not gonna happen as we do commit to Tomo. Gonna take the cheeky little tag. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just teleport to your TP and get the down onto Tomo. Very smart play from Torn there.
Ooh, for a second, I actually thought that someone was primed for the
Yeah,
pallet
same.
cave. That's going to be a second pain resonance of the match used. With a pop goes the Weasel on board. Where will Torn choose to place it? They're currently doing the technique, which very, very professionally known as the edging technique, where you pull out the UVX for just a little bit to prevent the spawn of a clone. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. That's what it's called the last time I remember. But trying to get that clone just in the correct spot. This gen at 5 has been really high price for a while. I feel like it's not popped yet, and it's not going to pop for any time soon with that eruption and the pop goes to Weasel tagged onto it.
I might be jinxing Torn, but Torn might have had a slow start, but they are slowly bringing this match back in their favor, so I am very proud of Torn.
Little pallet standoff there. Not a swing through. Tomo has a lot of space to work with, because I think like every pallet in this area hasn't been used, so like this entire the buses is their playground here. How will they choose to use it? They're gonna go straight for the pallet there. The window is gone, so there's no window to be used there. That's gonna be another pallet. That's gonna be another gen pop. That's 2 gens popped. If Torn wants to win for Nebula, they need to 4K everyone right now. But that pallet stun is not looking good for their chances.
I think that pallet stun just saved the win for Royalty, as we do see the down onto Tomo again.
I don't think you can go for the pickup there, because I think the gen is like, I think the gen's about to pop in your face if you don't go there immediately, and that's a gen pop. Well, the Tycon is still available for Nebula.
Yep, the Tycon is there, but with how good Royalty has been with their Gen Frog, I think we might see 4K0 at least, so, and potentially outs.
Yeah, definitely potentially outs at this rate. I'm trying to see where Torn's last gen is, because they have a gen by 6, they have a gen in the deep 9 pocket, and they have a gen in deep 7. So it's not the worst gen spread in the world. 6 is a little far, like bottom mid is a little far away from everything else, but that's still patrollable. It's really going to come down to, but yeah, I mean, Royalty have all 4 members up, so honestly, if you have 4 members up, then a 3 gen means nothing.
Yeah. And I think this is what Nebula missed in their game. The tunnel outs happened a little too quickly, but Phyrexia did have a good chase,
Ooh,
like you
the
said.
fadeaway.
Oh yes, but I think if Nebula could have had all 4 survivors in this area, their 4K1 scenario, I think they'd have been different.
It's gonna be a double unhook coming through. Both survivors coming in will end up getting injured, but they got their goal in the end. Tomo is off the hook. Now everyone is injured on the side of Royalty. If Torn wants to get this, this is, I think, their best opportunity to strike. Everyone's injured, so they're either gonna have to take the group reset, which will just allow Tomo more time to go down, or the third sinister option, which is just a triple gen. That is ballsy. I mean, if that's the win con,
ballsy.
but if that's the win con, then yeah, you might as well go for it.
I
But
would not
Torn,
pick up here. I would have slugged.
yeah, the slug to get a little extra pressure. I think is Torn just gonna, you know, Torn is gonna go for the pain race. It's gonna get the Pop Goes the Weasel online. Pain res on that gen. Tomo, I think, I know Cupid was working on it, but I think they backed off for now. I think Royalty is in danger of getting maybe 4K1s, but that might just be me coping.
Ooh, but we do fought the reset onto Tomo, and ooh, the stun.
A little bit of a far away shot, not going to connect. Envy still on the hook. Cupid is still injured, and Shroud is injured and weakened. Another fadeaway shot, because, you know, those look cool. You get style points. I don't think people realize that DBD actually has a very hidden ranking system called style points. The cooler stuff you do, the actually, like, the entity would be like, whoa, man, that's pretty cool. And we'll just let you off the hook. So, I respect it.
Same.
Right now, it is just Envy still on the hook. A reset hasn't come through. I have a strange feeling that, yeah, no, they're just going to try and pump out a gen while they can. Like,
I'm not mad at this play because they do only need 1 more gen to win for the 2-0 sweep, so they should just be trying to crank out the gen as much as possible, as we do have Tomo taking that UVX shot, which is not the worst idea because Tomo is the tunnel out that they need. But not gonna land. Oh, the blind!
Flashlight only going to stop Torn temporarily, as Tomo is the tunnel out, but they are healthy. So if you want to get that tunnel out, you're going to have to sweat a little bit. And knowing that there is active pressure on both bottom, mid, and deep 9, Torn really has not a lot of ways that they can go with getting 4K1. I think your best shot might be to just commit to someone, but it has to be someone that, like, you know you can get the down on fast. And that's just the biggest downside of Unknown. You can't guarantee fast downs. Honest to God, most of the time, you're just better off not using the power and just M2 faking. But you're going to get chased onto Tomo. That is the tunnel out, technically, with the 2 hook stages onto them. But is this going to be that efficient of a chase? They are starting it healthy. The first weakest shot coming in, the second's not going to injure. And I think after the second shot, you're just going to have to... Oh, the head on and the flash. Okay, that's just cool, man.
Oh, I feel so bad for Torn right now. I've had this happen to me before so many times during my scrims, and oh, it's so frustrating.
Frustrated or not, the show must go on. Torn now had that, I think, a little bit of opening to try and get something. That is a lot of pressure. I should have a nickel for every time I said the word pressure in this match. But it is a lot of pressure to have on that gen. Both survivors scattering towards the wind, not allowing Torn to get sent onto them, but Torn's nose is in overdrive, senses the Kate, Envy around Shaq, has a Shaq pal to work with, so this chase is also not very worth it to go for. Again, I'm gonna hammer this point home. The Unknown is just so weak in chase that, like, the survivors are allowed to just do this because, like, Torn is not gonna get a fast down.
No, unfortunately not.
Torn tried to get the shot through the window to get the weakened state, but unfortunately just not enough. This 5 gen is like so, this 6 gen is so close to popping. The short swing comes out, but not going to get through. They're just toying with him at this point. Hey, we got a weakened state on the board, but after the weakened, you were actively running into the killer. Okay, it's at this point when you, like, know that the survivors just don't care.
Yeah.
chase is gonna continue on, and
There
that's gonna be
is
the last.
10.
That's the last gen popping, finally putting Torn out their misery, and that's going to be the 2-0 for Royalty. And yeah, after really great unknown performance and a really good macro survivor side, Royalty walk away with the dub against Nebula here.
But kudos to both teams. I was very entertained. Both teams are just so inspiring to watch from both sides. For killer answers, like, you know what I can do differently?
Yeah, we'll see if they try and go for the save, because hey, this is like one of those moments where it's a perfect time to practice a triple save against an unknown in case in the future this is like a one con that it comes down to. We do see all three survivors like go for it. So I'm also curious to see how they can play this. Torn can play this in an interesting way where they can weaken like as many people as possible from a distance, but after some time they do just need to run in for it.
Yep, I would have to agree. I would just take the outs, honestly. Y'all already won. But they just want more, this team.
But remember, the style points.
Yeah, you're right, the style points.
The fake brownie points that the entity obviously
Hey,
like
Royalty
values.
already has their style points because their survivors are on fleek. They're
Oh,
looking
the
so
slip
good.
through.
Oh, yep.
And the assembly line just jet through, and yeah, there's no shot of Torn getting it.
No.
And that is going to be
unfortunately
4 outs against Torn.
not. Oh, I think
man.
Torn's a little frustrated with his
And that is going to be the win for Royalty. And that's going to be all for us. I've been Monarch and my co-caster Ellie. We deeply apologize for the little technical difficulties we had at the beginning, which did not allow for the first play match to be shown. We apologize for that, but stick around for tomorrow. We have a bunch of games in store as the group stage continues. So I've been Monarch with my co-caster Ellie. Ellie, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you. It's been fun. I'm so happy I get to finally cast at Ashen Trials, and I'm super excited for the next match I get to cast.